Yesterday, school teachers had to call police to neutralize a child who wore a dangerous and frightening t-shirt to school. The Molan Labe t-shirt, ordered from the conspiracy-crazed InfoWars organization, had an image of a perilous weapon and threatening, "come and take it" wording.
Oh my, that shirt is over the top.
Yes, can you imagine? Thankfully, the teachers saw the threat and were able to have the police come and tase the boy so they could remove the offensive shirt. In other news, remember, you have only a few more days to file your taxes. Those who file get refunds, and billions are available. Those who don't file just may end up in jail.
Winston, what can I get you?
Maybe a stress-less herbal tea? I'm feeling a little tense this morning. I'm not sure why.
Is everything all right? Did you have an evil dream, Brother Winston? Did you hear something awful when you watched the news?
I did have a strange dream. I'm not sure I remember all of it, though. I watched the news this morning, but there wasn't anything unusually unsettling. They were just talking about taxes being due.
Taxes? No wonder. They unsettle everybody. Did you know the IRS isn't part of the U.S. government, strictly speaking? It's an offshore corporation headquartered in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Really? But what they said on the news wasn't all that negative. I mean, I think they said something about going to jail if you don't file, but they also said billions in refunds are being given. That's not scary, is it? I'd like billions in refunds.
Who would not? But we all know that billions aren't coming to our accounts anytime soon, don't we?
No loving way, dude. Trillions go to the U.S. corporation. That is a front for the banks.
The U.S. corporation? I guess you're calling the IRS a corporation.
No. Well, yeah, it is. Like I said, headquartered in Puerto Rico, so it's offshore. But what we generally think of as the U.S. government isn't really the republic established by the Constitution. It's a Washington, D.C. corporation that replaced the republic at the beginning of the Civil War. Yeah, look it up sometime. Crazy stuff.
Well then, maybe the thought of taxes is what riled me up this morning.
So much news is propaganda these days. They twist you round and round so you do what they want you to do. They know how to use what Pavlov learned about the doggies.
Oh, yeah?
We all know the doggies that came for the treats and hid from the shocks. What most of us don't know is that they tried ringing the treat bell and sounding the shock alarm at the same time. The poor doggy just stood shaken. Taxes are like that. You might get refund or you might get jail. People get frozen and docile.
That's right. There are a lot of ways Americans are manipulated. You know, Winston, a lot of Nazis came here to live after World War II under Project Paperclip. And they taught government guys a lot about how to control populations. Nasty as well.
John, you know about the U.S. corporation replacing the U.S. Republic at the beginning of the Civil War, don't you?
Oh yeah, sure I do. Congress didn't have a quorum after the southern states seceded. They got together and just instituted a corporation to replace the constitutional republic. Problem solved. At least from the point of view of the continuity of government.
Wait, so when we vote, what are we voting for? Representative government or officers of a corporation?
That's a good question. Here's your herbal tea.
See you all later.
Excuse me, sir. Can you help us out? Can you help us out?
Hello.
This looks like a big place. Can you tell us where Mateo Alban can be found?
Mateo... Oh, you mean Matthew Alban. He's my boss. Why are you looking for him?
We're from the government, and we're here to help.
I wonder why the IRS people are here to talk to Mr. Alban.
IRS? The two guys who said they were from the government?
Well, they look pretty serious. I hope his accountant didn't make some mistake or something.
Why, he's such a thoroughly good man. It's shocking that anybody could even think that he hadn't dotted every single little I and crossed every great big T.
Hey, Winston, my man. Byron, Julia, Anna. How are the stars of my team this morning? Who's crossing the T's and dotting the I's? Are we all being as efficient and thorough as usual?
Why, is everything okay? We saw those boys looking to talk with you.
Oh, sure. Everything's right as rain. They just have a few questions about my tax return. We were thorough. We were honest. We had our returns done by a CPA who stands by us. So any questions will be answered.
I hope so. It seems pretty serious if they would come here to talk to you.
Well, my wife is active in an anti-abortion group. We're Catholic, you know, and very pro-life. It seems the tax people don't like the group. My wife's friends who gave donations to the group are all being audited. But everything's fine. Our CPA filed a letter to the tax law, so we'll be fine.
I don't know. That sounds like a pretty serious tax problem.
Tax problem? You mean the IRS? The IRS is nothing but a collection agency for the Federal Reserve.
How can that be? Taxes pay for our roads and our parks and armies and all.
Taxes don't pay for all that stuff. In America, debt is money. All that stuff is purchased with created debt. Taxes only go to pay the debt to the Federal Reserve.
What is all that nonsense she's talking? I declare, she might as well be speaking a different language.
Well, what she says is technically true. The Constitution gives Congress the authority to create money, but on Christmas Eve, Congress voted to relinquish that authority to the private Federal Reserve banking system, which was created by a group of independent, wealthy businessmen on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia prior to that Christmas Eve vote in 1913. The IRS was formed shortly after. The two are most definitely linked.
But surely taxes pay for something else besides debt, don't they?
Actually, no. The revenues collected by the IRS go directly to pay the Federal Reserve. They really do function as a collection agency. We don't pay taxes for services. We pay a use tax on the money created via debt by the Fed.
Well, I don't even care. I'm just happy to do my part in supporting our great country. I'm so glad women can work now and share the tax burden.
And I find it interesting that you put it that way. The CIA sponsored feminist authors and agitators to prod women into the workplace so that the IRS could increase their revenues. Homemakers were doing work without wages, so there was no way to tax them. Work done that directly benefits your family is one way to avoid the tyranny of the IRS.
Stupid people waiting to avoid taxes. What do they think we would do without the help of the government?
Excuse me, Bruce?
You're a hypocrites. Do you want to pay taxes? Who would educate your kids? Who would make sure you're healthy? Who could fight your wars?
Actually, Bruce, we homeschool our own children, and we pursue natural health in a way that almost all doctors in the current medical system don't. Also, I oppose wars contrived to put money into the pockets of the military-industrial complex.
Stupid cockbrother zombies!
That's an interesting thought about doing things to directly benefit your family. My brother and his wife live on a homestead. they don't have a lot of money, but they don't need much because they grow just about everything they need right there on their property. It's true, they don't use much money, so they don't pay much in taxes.
Sounds like a pretty rough way to live.
Really? They live pretty well. My sister-in-law is a great cook, but you know, Anna, I've never known her to make cookies like these.
Hey, Winston. What's up?
Go easy on me, Joe. This was a strange day.
I had a strange day, too. I had a visit from the IRS.
You did?
I did. We sometimes donate to a preacher the IRS doesn't like very much. He talks about how the government is infringing on our religious freedom that's guaranteed by the Bill of Rights. The IRS went after the preacher with such fury that he had to sell his house. We use the same accountant, so I'm pretty sure all his financial stuff is clean.
Why'd they want to talk to you? Did they think you would know something about his finances?
Well, no. The IRS is auditing me because I gave money to him. It's like this, Winston. The way things are now, if the administration doesn't like your politics, they use the IRS as an enforcer to shut you up. It's happened to a lot of people, and it happens more often than you would think. And there have been some famous cases, like when they went after Willie Nelson a while back, when he was trying to help farmers resist the federal government.
Well, if you did everything right, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I will. But it's complicated. The way the code is enforced is very subjective. There really is no clear-cut law. There are only rules and regulations, and they almost seem to make those up as they go, finding people retroactively after they make new laws, and stuff like that. The tax code is so complicated that most CPAs don't even understand it. You know, Winston, Ron Paul said it's pretty certain that the Founding Fathers never intended for us to live here to pay 40% of our income to the federal government. I'll do what I can to prove their claim is false, and I'm sure I'll be fine. Anyways, enough talk. You ready for that workout?
That with the faith of the four guys, that with the faith of the four guys, that with the faith of the four guys, promises tonight. Honesty, seem to say sweet. Mama said just wait and see. Whether the law that they made, and the confidence was sweet. But once more the winter, and the common big attack. Yeah, once more the river, and the things that make it back. But with the faith of the four guys, I'm better promises tonight. That with the faith of the four guys, I'm better promises tonight. Yeah, with the faith of the four guys, I'm better promises tonight. That with the faith of the four guys. We're for our love souls, and the name that you only know. Whether our guns surely know.